From certain characters needing to be dispatched in order to set up the flicks we know and love later down the road, to eerie callbacks subtly suggesting that a much-adored personality's time is up. These Star Wars faces were all clearly done for from these precise moments on. Gareth here from What Culture Star Wars, and here are 10 exact moments we knew these Star Wars characters were doomed. Number 10, Luke catches up with an old friend called Biggs. A New Hope. War is a cruel and merciless mistress, and make no mistake about it, from the second we stumble upon the Rebel Alliance and their conflict with the Big Bad Empire, our heroes find themselves thrown right into the thick of this frequently harsh reality. And in order to get over just how high the stakes are in this galaxy-altering battle for the future of their universe, Lucas and the gang opted to add a rather genius but eventually devastating callback to simpler times, when Luke Skywalker bumps into his old pal Biggs Darklighter as the pair both prepare to take on Darth Vader and his stormtrooper cronies on the Death Star. As the pair reminisce and Biggs bigs up the future Jedi's supreme pilot skills, Darklighter's comments on wanting to hear about all of Luke's stories when he gets back pretty much acts as the verbal nail in his own coffin. Sure enough, in the heat of battle, Biggs is blasted to smithereens by none other than Luke's own puppy, acting as yet another significant blow to the young farm boy. Breaks your damn heart. Number 9, almost everyone who didn't turn up in the OG trilogy after Order 66 happens. Revenge of the Sith. Though it was undoubtedly awesome to finally see a world simply overflowing with the galaxy's protectors over the course of George Lucas's prequel trilogy, the daunting realization that an unquestionably depressing purge would be on its way always acted as a subtle shadow in an otherwise vibrant Jedi landscape. Simply put, if the Jedi Order wasn't all but extinct, as Ben Kenobi put it in A New Hope, by the time of the original trilogy, then some rather substantial plot holes would have likely made their presence known before long. So whether fans liked it or not, a whole host of Jedi faces we come to appreciate and admire over those first 2 prequel features were doomed to bite the dust from the second Anakin Skywalker helped Palpatine overcome Mace Windu. But more on that later. And set the stage for Order 66 to become an excruciating reality. Just like that, the likes of Ki-Adi-Mundi, Plo Koon, and Aayla Secura, and many, many more were all wiped out by clones. We knew it all had to end at some point, but that still didn't make it any easier to swallow this devastating pill. Number 8, Shmi Skywalker gets abducted. Attack of the Clones. Keeping with the fallen Jedi who helped kickstart a seismic shift in both the galaxy and the balance of the Force, the moment that pretty much ignited Anakin Skywalker's steady fall into darkness in the first place could be spotted coming a mile away from the second this defiant Jedi Padawan opted to go looking for his mama on Tatooine. Clearly still possessing a strong bond with his single parent, even experiencing dreams of her suffering from afar. Those first few premonitions of Shmi's pain acted as the unnerving earliest hint at the grim fate that was always destined to grip the future Darth Vader's loving mother. A wild goose chase on the desert planet ensued in Attack of the Clones, only to present the deeply tormented Jedi with a scenario involving his mama being abducted by Tusken Raiders a month before he landed. At that point seen as a hugely hostile group, to expect Shmi to survive that long being held captive by the Raiders was sadly unrealistic, and her dying breaths to her little Annie were always necessary in nudging this troubled lad down the dark path we all knew he was heading down. Number 7, Obi-Wan's love is introduced, The Clone Wars. In another instance of a vital character being introduced in a project set before the events fans had already seen come to pass in the likes of Revenge of the Sith and the subsequent features that would ultimately unfold. The arrival of Satine Kryze in the Clone Wars was always destined to be a bittersweet one. While it was a captivating development to see the world of Mandalore ruled by the Duchess determined to move the people of her planet on from their largely violent ways of the past, the powerful figure who also acted as the unexpected love interest of a certain Obi-Wan Kenobi was pretty much doomed from the second it became clear that she and Kenobi had a romantic past of sorts. Simply put, Satine isn't mentioned in the slightest in the time following on from the Clone Wars, so fans were rather morbidly anticipating her demise from the get-go. And in the end, it was none other than Kenobi's great adversary Maul who dealt the fatal blow, murdering Satine in front of him as he was helpless to save her. Number 6, a nervous young Boba watches his father on the battlefield. Attack of the Clones. George Lucas's decision to introduce us to the Fett who would set the stage for BOBA did admittedly feel a little shoehorned at first, but not more than that A New Hope special edition scene. But said origin story of the coolest bounty hunter in this galactic series would ultimately provide BOBA with a tragic foundation on which the rest of his captivating journey was built upon throughout the Clone Wars original trilogy and subsequent live-action Disney Plus series. Said tragic event could be seen coming from the minute the jubilant young son of Jango started cheering on the violence and carnage he was witnessing going down within the Geonosian Petranaki arena, however. You don't bring a youngster along for the evidently perilous ride if you're not intending to scar him for life, right? As expected, it wasn't too long before Jango, fresh off of showing off his slick pistol skills in dispatching some Jedi under reek, well and truly met his Mace Windu match, having his head taken off by the masterful Jedi in front of his kids' very eyes. Dick move, Windu. Number 5, Leia calling out to Ben harkens back to Luke's passing, the rise of Skywalker. While it was admittedly one of the more divisive Star Wars passings, the sight of Luke Skywalker finally becoming one with the Force after projecting himself across the galaxy in an attempt to reconcile with former student Kylo Ren, while simultaneously aiding the future of the Jedi in Rey, was one that had a lasting and profound effect on the grand finale of the Skywalker saga. One film on from The Last Jedi, Red was once again tasked with duking it out with Palpatine's grandkid, yet the fallen Jedi was once again stopped in his tracks by a Force-sensitive relative, this time in the form of his mama, General Leia Organa. Acting as another life-draining projection of sorts from across the galaxy, it was evident from the second that Leia hobbled away to contact her son that this was to be the final act for the legendary figure. The tragic real-life passing of Carrie Fisher also left many sensing that the series would give the iconic face a fitting send-off at some point in the saga ender too, and in acting as the catalyst that would bring Ben back towards the light, Leia's final action felt as meaningful as it did gut-wrenching. Number 4, Obi-Wan is compromised as Dooku is disarmed, Revenge of the Sith. The knowledge of Darth Vader's eventual rise always brought with it the inevitable end of the former Jedi Master known as Count Dooku. However, it wasn't precisely clear when his time at Darth Sidious's side would come to an end coming into the final prequel entry. That was until Obi-Wan Kenobi found himself sidelined in the midst of his rematch alongside Anakin Skywalker with the dastardly Sith. From the moment the Jedi Master was buried underneath a platform, leaving only the easily manipulated Anakin to duke it out with Dooku, all signs pointed to the highly emotional Force user losing control and getting some much-needed revenge on the tyrannical Darth Tyrannus. One do it later, Skywalker had successfully decapitated the one-time Jedi in front of his soon-to-be master, but had Obi-Wan still been conscious, you have to imagine Dooku would have likely lived to see the inside of a prison cell instead. Number 3, Han Solo meets his son face to face, The Force Awakens. While many would confess to being wholly shocked at the most devastating development to come out of the first sequel flick, that and the fact that Luke Skywalker didn't even get the chance to utter a single word. In truth, eagle-eyed fans could very much feel this demise a-coming. With much of The Force Awakens taking inspiration from another beloved Star Wars tale in A New Hope, it felt somewhat appropriate that the wise old mentor of this flick would fall in a similar fashion to that of Ben Kenobi in that 4th episode. Upon stepping out to come face to face with his fallen Jedi son, Kylo Ren, the eerie similarities to that aforementioned Vader-Kenobi showdown were glaring for many. Add into that the late inclusion of the rest of the heroic gang arriving on the scene to watch the pair's interaction from afar, and Han Solo's end was all but confirmed. Helpless to save the iconic smuggler as he is impaled by his lad, Rey, like Luke before her, is forced to take the next steps on her journey without her newfound mentor. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Number 2, Mace Windu tells Anakin Skywalker to stay out of it, Revenge of the Sith. A great many of the beats that ultimately led to the apparent Chosen One heading into the dark side of things could have likely been avoided had Anakin Skywalker been supported or just trusted a little more at numerous points throughout his gradual fall. And while Obi-Wan getting knocked out of the action and leaving Anakin to be manipulated by Sidious earlier on in the Revenge of the Sith film couldn't really be helped, the way Mace Windu went about ordering Skywalker to keep from interfering with his arrest of Palpatine was both avoidable and in the end deeply foolish. It was during this verbal back and forth that it became clear that Anakin's faith in the Jedi was at an all-time low, and Windu's rejecting of Anakin's help due to the confusion he sensed within him likely didn't help his cause either. Then, upon inevitably disobeying said order and witnessing Windu suddenly decide that Sidious must be killed instead of put on trial, after all he's too dangerous to be kept alive, that loss of faith in the Jedi would finally nudge Anakin over the edge, as he betrayed the purple-bladed Jedi Master and set the Great Jedi Purge in motion. Number 1. The laser gate split the fight, the Phantom Menace. The jaw-dropping Duel of the Fates still sits as one of the most masterful and skillfully crafted climaxes the series has to offer, highlighting the sheer size and power of the opposition now standing in their way. Both Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi find themselves pushed to their limits by the dual-bladed Sith Darth Maul early on, and with the pair already struggling to best this seemingly indomitable Sith as a unit, the introduction of some frustrating laser gates in the thick of the drama acted as a rather unnerving hint at what was to come. Qui-Gon had already struggled to see off Maul on his own whilst colliding with the mysterious Darksider on Tatooine. So despite it acting as one of the most savage and soul-crushing acts of the entire saga, his impaling at the hands of Maul as a helpless Obi-Wan watched on felt depressingly inevitable from the second those dastardly gates appeared. In the end, Maul's defiance would get the better of him as Kenobi eventually dealt a seemingly fatal blow to avenge his master's death. But the fate-sealing damage had already been done. And that's our list. Know of any other exact moments we knew Star Wars characters were doomed? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're there. Also, if you feel the force is strong with this kind of video, then head on over to whatculture.com and find some more articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Star Wars. May the force be with you, and hopefully I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye!